Hey guys, so today I wanted to share my second update for the Blackflame Bloodmage, and currently I am only entering red maps, so by no means am I near the end game yet. However, I like to talk about how the build is performing so far, particularly on a budget. I know this is one of the meta builds popularized by Captain Lance, but the progression hasn't been too clear and it's a little challenging for myself. So I like to share some of my learning experiences with this build and hopefully help some of you out. Starting with the strength of this build. So on a league start scenario, it has decent clear and good single target damage, as you can see from these clips. And there's also a lot of scaling potential for this build to become an all-rounder build, basically with great clear, great single target, and good survivability as well. However, this build, because of how popular it is, the upgrade milestones have become very expensive. So items like Tech Rod, Defiance of Destiny, Altuis, they are tens of divines currently. So very expensive. And before you get like your first item, the Tech Rod, your build is pretty much squishy. So you have low armor, no evasion, no block. So that's one of the challenges that I was facing, is that the build is pretty squishy. Also, it's a very active playstyle and it takes a bit of getting used to, especially with managing your projectiles, fireball, ember fusillade, stuff like that. But however, the build is still fun to play overall, and in a moment here I'll go over my character and showcase a map shortly. Stay tuned. Alright, so jumping in, the character is currently level 85. Still progressing through the end game, as I said. So I'll just want to go over the gear first. The first mandatory item is the Mask of the Sanguimancer, which gives you blood magic. This is so we don't have to path all the way down here to grab that. And then the number one upgrade that I would prioritize would be the wand. I basically bought this for I think 20 exalts, being the number one priority stat being all fire spell skills. It goes up to +5, but that's over 2 divines, so I got +4, and then at least 2 of the damage as extra. So I got T2 roll on fire and lightning, and then that's it. So 3 stat on a spell slinger wand. Spell slinger allows us to run snap, which drops these infusion remnants, which will buff your fireball. So this is my latest purchase. Let me see if I could find the last item that I was using here. I believe it's this one. The only difference here is that it's 1 level less for the fire spell and it doesn't have the spell slinger. So I was using this before I upgraded to this. And then for armor, you're basically getting just life. These are pretty cheap on trade right now, like less than 5 exalts. Life, armor, and then resistances. Amulet is important. You want to get all spell skills at least +2, and then life. Rarity is nice as well if you can get them. For the shield, I was able to pick this up for I think less than 20 exalts, which has all spell skills +3, fire res, lightning res, and then spell damage and chaos damage, which both scales your fireball and your ember fusillade. So there is a video by Captain Lance on how to craft this using essence, so make sure to check that out. But it's pretty easy to make for less than 30 exalts, I would say. And then the rings are pretty mid, just cast speed, life, some resistances to fill out. Same here. Gloves is life as well, rarity. Belt has life, resistances, and then finally movement speed. And you basically just want to get resistances across your gear to cap your fire core and lightning, and you should be decently tanky. And then for the offhand, I'm running a staff with all spell skills +5. That's really the only important. Oh, and cast speed. So as high cast speed as you can. I got 41% here, and that's because we have a secondary tree for cursing. So as you can see here, if you're not familiar with weapon sets, and we basically have the first weapon supports our first skill tree here, which is the one in red. So these ones here, actually let me see, sorry, these ones, the orange one, it's kind of hard to tell, but it's these orange ones. They basically are for clear and single target, and then our secondary staff is to support these ones, the green cursing nodes. So it has skill effect duration, a bunch of curse magnitudes, curse stuff, and then this is for single target. So that's basically it. And then this is what the passive tree looks like. Pretty standard. I'm just following Captain Lance's tree here and filling out some of these life here, and yeah, that's what it looks like. Now for the gems, I would prioritize upgrading your Amber Fusillade to a 6 link, because I think I did this today. I bought the perfect jewelers for I believe 35 exalts, so they're pretty affordable. And then get a Seance Temper, which is like 1 exalt on trade. This is great for your Amber Fusillade. And then everything else is just Fork, Compressed Duration, Considered Casting, and Fire Mastery. Spell Slinger is linked to Snap. It gives you the Remnants that will buff your Fireball again. Harmonic Remnants, Boundless Energy, Life Remnants, same thing, Harmonic and Remnant Potency. Fireball, I'm still waiting to 6 link it. This is mainly for clear. Linked to Nova. Nova is more consistent than Wall Shards. A lot of people on Reddit have found that out. So it gives you less damage, but it's consistently 4 projectiles instead of Wall Shards that gives you a chance to fire 8 projectiles. So this is just more consistent overall. Fork, Unleash, and Considered Casting. And then everything else is, again, it's following Captain Les's guide. Despair is linked to Heightened Curse, Focus Curse, Efficiency, Siphon Elements for the Remnants. Time of Need is just a nice defensive aura, and then Withering Presence. Now, just want to talk about the playstyle really quick. So, you, again, don't want to be spamming your ability here. How Amber Fusillade work is you just want to make sure you cast a little bit. Usually I hold it down for like 1 to 2 seconds, and you should get enough projectiles to start firing here, as you can see. You don't have to spam it too much, and typically you want to hold it down, let it fire, and while it's firing you launch your fireball. Hold it down, launch your fireball, just like that. That's the playstyle. And then occasionally you want to cast your snap, and then Despair is just basically a curse. You curse the ground, and then this is only used for bosses really. For normal mobs you don't really need that. So we went over that, and don't forget to upgrade your gem levels. As you can see, I'm still waiting to get some high level gems to upgrade my my fireball. My fireball is only level 17, so I'm still waiting to get some gems there. But I'll showcase a map really quick here, just to show you the clear and the single target. So let's see if I can find it. I think this one here. We'll do this with a boss and a breach in there. Alright, so we're gonna run around, and the purple fireballs, they do look very nice. So for essence, you can throw down a curse, but our single target has never really been an issue. Survivability is a little sketch. So as you can see there, we died, unfortunately. I'm not gonna cut that out because that is part of the build. Without Defiance and without the Takarot, it's just not very tanky. But for the most part, your damage is able to carry the clear. So Takarot would be my next upgrade. I'm still waiting. It currently costs about 10 divines, so it's that has been the biggest challenge. When I started this build, I did not expect the upgrade items to be so expensive. But again, it has a lot of scaling potential like it scales almost exponentially. Tech Rot, I have pretty high expectations that once I get it, it should basically make me have an infinite regen, which will make me very tanky. And then that paired with Defiance would make you pretty much immortal. And then everything is exponential after that. You can get a Calm's Heart, you can get what's the other one? Alatui's Bloodletting, whatever that is. That should be a huge DPS increase. However, damage is not an issue now, so I'm not prioritizing that as an upgrade. I have not completed my 4th lab yet. I have tried and failed, unfortunately. I think the Trial of the Sakema would probably be an easier choice. However, it takes too long and I don't really care about doing it for now. I think once I have better gear, once I get my Tech Rot, then I will prioritize my 4th lab. But for now, it's not too important because the 4th lab is going to give us the maximum life based on energy shield on your armor, and that's not too important for now, at least. I think once you have your 3 labs, you are pretty much solid. It's nice when you get the wall shard proc. Oh, we missed the boss. Alright, I'm just gonna cut the video short, go to the boss real quick, show you the single target, and I'll clear the rest of the res later. Okay, so not too sure what this boss is here. I think it's the bony one. There you go. So single target, again, it's probably the biggest strength of this build. But yeah, that's it for this video. Let me know your thoughts on the leak, as well as, you know, what you think of this character so far, and if you have any tips as well on how you can scale it effectively. But hopefully this video helps you out. See you guys in the next one. Bye.